Ladies and gentlemen, hello there. Hi, and welcome to another edition of the Mr. Warren Hayes Show. I am Mr. Warren Hayes, if you can believe that. And I'm welcoming you tonight to this very typical edition of the show. This is the Raw Recap Show for the March 11 edition of WWE's flagship show, Monday Night Raw. And holy smokes, if you are watching this live right now on youtube.com/Mr. Warren Hayes, because we record these live every Monday night for Raw, every Tuesday night for SmackDown, then you know right now that the chat is full of beautiful, fantastic, outstanding people such as Mr. Fritz, Chris Matthews, Blaine is here as well, the exquisite Kristen Ashley, editor-in-chief of my heart, Chris Matthews, which I already said, Michael Stepney, Graham Cook, Joe Anthony is here as well, CM Phil, Robert Larry. Man, there's a whole bunch of folks here. And, you know, I got to tell you, I have to tell you folks, and I'm going to start emphasizing this a lot more. I love my chat. And when I say my, I mean the group of people that come together on Monday evenings to listen to me ramble on about pro wrestling. They are just fantastic people. So if you're not watching this live, do consider doing this once in your earthly existence, at least, to just come and feel all the beautiful, wonderful friendship or fellowship that exists here. And you know, there's. We do get a lot of wonderful people here, and it's worth it. It's worth it because, you know, maybe, you know, I mean, if you are watching this on youtube.com/Mr. Warren Hayes on demand, that's fine. That's fine. That's what it's there for as well. And if you're listening to this on your favorite podcasting application, because the audio of this ends up as a podcast later on, well, why don't, I mean, you can still pop in at some point, but I mean, you can enjoy the Mr. Warren Hayes Show whenever you like. Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, Podbean, whatever you like to listen to your podcasts on. You just go ahead and do it. You just go ahead and do it because you have all the choice in the world. Oh, JPQ's here as well, but, you know, he's a bit of a son of a bitch. I'm kidding. I am absolutely kidding. It's just earlier this evening, JPQ and I went on the Smart to Death YouTube channel at youtube.com/SmartToDeath, which is why I'm repping the t-shirt tonight. Anthony of Smart to Death, John and I, we are doing some bracketology for the New Japan Cup. We did a show last weekend, not this weekend, the weekend before that, sort of like to prep, like give our whole predictions for the New Japan Cup. And we decided that we would revisit every round afterwards to sort of see how bad we failed and readjust our picks as we're going along. So we did our first recap because the first round is all done. So we're moving into the second round. So we did our first recap today, and John and I got at it a little, just a little. We got into it a bit. But that's fine. That's fine. It's you know, it's good for John to be challenged a little. If I'm being completely transparent with you guys, you know, John lives, you know, he's a good guy. He lives in a bit of a bubble. You know, when you never get poked, you don't know exactly how to, you know, you just keep on going. You're like, with this smug sense of entitlement, you know, you just keep on going. So sometimes, you just go, hey, John, maybe you're not entirely right here. But the New Japan Cup, by the way, if you want to take a look at it, see what's happening right now, check out the second night, if I'm not mistaken, or the third. I think it's the third night, the one that had Kota Ibushi and Tetsuya Naito. Oh, that was a fantastic show from top to bottom. And on the first night, this is weird, but check out Juice Robinson versus Chase Owens. And if you guys are even remotely familiar with New Japan, Bullet Club, the Elite, all that stuff, you're like, what? Chase Owens? Yeah. Yes. Blaine says it's the third night with Naito and Ibushi. That was bananas. That was just crazy. So there you go, guys. There's still more to come. I still have more to talk about. Wait a second. Tomorrow night, remember, SmackDown Live is happening. So right after 10:30 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, not Eastern Standard anymore. We're on Daylight Savings, baby. We go to you come back over here at Mr. Warren Hayes, youtube.com/Mr. Warren Hayes, and we'll talk about SmackDown Live right here. Then on Wednesday, you head over to FightfulSelect.com for my 205 Live NXT UK recap show. Fightful Select is the premium service of Fightful.com. It's been a crazy few months. In just the past few months, Select has doubled its number of subscribers. We started the year with about 100, or we had just tipped over 100, and within the last few months we got 100 more. And I say we because I contribute to Select. I do those podcasts there. I do retro reviews with Sean. I covered the G1 last summer for Select, and it's a pleasure to do so. And I'm thrilled that what Sean and I and Steven Jensen, who does the Weekender, it's really exciting that everyone is connecting with it, and that they enjoy what we're doing enough to support Fightful. It makes me happy. It really does. So if you haven't subscribed yet, you just put that in your brain here. Just think about it. Just let it mull over. And pull out your credit card and then give us $5 a month kind of thing. So check that out. This past Saturday, I was invited onto the Division podcast hosted by Kristen Ashley for Fightful, for Fightful.com. Again, it is the women's only, not the women's only, the women's wrestling podcast. We're joined by I'm inviting. I'm a guest. I'm not, the show doesn't belong to me. Kristen invited me and Harmony Cox from Daily DDT and a bunch of other stuff as well. So we talked about women's wrestling there. If you haven't had the time to check it out yet, please go. We talk about all sorts of stuff, including, but not limited to, women of wrestling. Wow, superheroes. And Ronda Rousey. So there you go. So Fightful Select and all that. Check all the stuff that I do. And I think, and JPQ in the chat, if you correct me if I'm wrong, but I think we're doing the bracketology, the next step of the bracketology and the New Japan Cup thing on Thursday, right? I think that's when we're doing our next live stream. I think it's Thursday. So there we go. Bleed blue. We're all sorts of stuff happening in Warren Hayes' world as usual. And I'm glad you guys are here. We're gonna have an interesting time tonight. But before we actually get into Raw, two quick things. I want just some quick Fastlane thoughts. That was last night, pay-per-view Fastlane. We are officially on the road to Fastlane. the fast lane to fast lane. I thought it was a fun show. Not a perfect show by any stretch of the imagination, but it was fun. I had a good time watching it, and I feel like the angles. There was a ton of angles that were set up. Getting a clearer picture of where we're heading into WrestleMania now, and it really felt like a big important edition of Raw. That's how it felt like, as opposed to tonight. But I thought there was a lot of good stuff on it. I really dug the pre-show match between the New Day and Rusev and Nakamura. For a show that was announced on Friday, just dropped on social media like that, there was no reason for these guys to go as crazy cuckoo bananas as they did. I thought that was such a good match. Putting the New Day in an opening match on your pay-per-view is always a good idea. It will always get the crowd hype. And as far as the rest of the evening, I liked the WWE Championship match. I liked. I gotta tell you, I didn't care much about what they did with the women. I understand. I didn't care much for it. I'm excited to see. Sonya Deville break away from Mandy Rose and fly on her own, because I'm as close to being a stan when I talk about Sonya Deville, and I'm this close. I think she has so much value. It's just being underrepresented right now. Let Mandy Rose and EC3 become a thing. I'm okay with that. Just let Sonya break away from that, man. We'll all be better off. But I really like the WWE Championship match. I thought that was fun. I thought the Shield match was a perfect moment. It started off a little slow, but then it just got wild. Just a classic a classic Shield match towards the end. I thought it was fantastic. The one thing about the WWE Championship match, though, I don't quite understand, is why they put Mustafa Ali in the replacement spot for Kofi Kingston. Now, I understand from a production standpoint why they did it. Probably to say, well, Mustafa, we haven't forgot what you did. We do believe in you. It sucks that you had to be out of the Elimination Chamber and that Kofi's in this spot. And I understand that it makes sense in that way to say, well, Mustafa Ali ends up in that position. I understand all that, right? But it kind of felt like the Royal Rumble 2014 when the 30 spot came around and it was Rey Mysterio who came in and not Daniel Bryan, and everyone got really pissed and started booing Rey out of the building, and it completely derailed the match. I thought it sucked a lot of air out of the room when it was Mustafa who came out. Not that I expected Kofi to come out, but in this whole thing where it's Mr. McMahon who's doing his dance puppets kind of thing, you'd think he would have sent out a heel. He would have sent out a guy like Randy Orton, for instance. Just anyone other than, plucky underdog babyface. We're supposed to really like him for his efforts, Mustafa Ali, when Mustafa's coming in to take the place of the guy who is currently super over and people want to see succeed. It was an odd choice. I didn't quite get it why they did it that way. But fun match nonetheless. Like I said, not a perfect pay-per-view. Oh, and I really, really liked the Shane and Miz angle. Oh, that was so well done. It was so well done, and I really didn't think they were going to go with Shane as a heel here. Ooh, what a good choice. Oh, that was good. That was so good. So good. And today was announced, revealed in the on WWE.com, and then also this evening on Raw, Harlem Heat is being inducted into the Hall of Fame class this year. To me, that is fantastic. There would have been no Booker T had it not been for Harlem Heat and his brother Stevie Ray. And it's interesting to note at the same time that it's interesting that Harlem Heat would be inducted. Harlem Heat is a team that has never performed in WWE. They have the entirety of that team's run has been in WCW. So I really, really think it's a super interesting, very gratifying induction. Makes me feel good. It's probably the one, along with China, or DX and the China, it's really those two that are highlights for me this year. I'm really, really glad about that. I think it's a great move. And like commentary pointed out, that makes Booker T a 2-time inductee. Only in wrestling, right? Could you be inducted into a Hall of Fame twice? Unless someone who follows legit sports in chat right now can turn around and tell me, no, Warren, Manny Kerpluspow from the New York Grapeviners from the American Basketball League in the 1930s got inducted twice as a coach and as a player, kind of thing. The New York Grapeviners are a thing, right? By the way, look at that up here. I just noticed that my squid is missing. For those of you who are watching right now live on demand on youtube.com/Mr. Warren Hayes. My squid is gone. And you see right now, this is the sad thing, is that my handiwork is exposed. Now you see what kind of handyman I am, because it's basically like electric tape. Those are the black splotches. That's electric tape and masking tape. That's all I use to try and hold that shit up. And of course it's going to fall. But I didn't realize it had fallen before starting the stream. Like, he's right here. Hang on a second. Here's my... He's right here. He just fell. Didn't realize he had fallen. Oh, he looks good there. Look at that. Filling up that blank splotch there. Maybe I should put something else up there. Any suggestions, chat? Let me know what I should hang up here instead of my squid hat. I'm glad that Joe Anthony in the chat. Let's not slander my guy Manny Kablowski. Well, I'm not slandering him. I'm I'm asking questions. Yeah, chat is pretty much confirming what I thought. There's no, and only in wrestling. There's no other Hall of Fame that has multiple time inductees. It's weird. All right. Are we going to talk about Raw now? Let's talk about Raw. Because Raw started off with Le Bouclier. The Shield. Yes, I speak French. A lot of people I know speak French. A lot of people I know do their best to speak French. And they try really, really hard. And I love them for it. When you see the Shield come out this week, and you see Warren Hayes. When you see Roman Reigns come out, why would I even try to compare myself to Roman Reigns? Last week Roman came out, and I thought that he was, his promo work was fantastic, and he was in street clothes, he had his man bun. And I gotta say, I like not greasy Roman a lot more than the Roman that we usually get. He's in the ring with Seth and Dean. And he says he's grateful to his brothers for not letting him down and thanks them for last night. Roman hasn't wrestled hasn't had a singles match on Raw in 5 months, so he's raring to go. Dean has some business too. They're not quite sure what it is because Dean is a lunatic fringe. So they're not quite sure what's going on like that. But then Roman says that Seth, he's the man heading into WrestleMania. So they all go their separate ways. Like, basically, Roman Reigns is saying, the Shield thing was fun, but this is the moment where we're done here. We're finished with this bit of angle right now. So ready to move on. And Seth is left alone in the ring. He has a microphone. And he starts to talk, but that brings out Mr. Paul Heyman. And he comes out and he does his spiel, and they they talk about Brock Lesnar, they being Paul and Seth. And Paul talks about Roman Reigns, or Seth starts talking about the people that Braun has defeated, that has run through. Bill Goldberg, Braun Strowman, Samoa Joe. But then again, who hasn't beaten Samoa Joe? Am I right? But I get I get what he was going for. And then then Seth says, but Brock has had a hard time with guys like Daniel Bryan, AJ Styles, Finn Balor, guys who are maybe a little more my size. Maybe he has a little more difficulty with guys who are a little quicker. Have a little more, can go a little faster than, are a little more agile. Maybe Brock isn't all that great against, people that are a little quick. A little dexterity, a little agility. I'm trying hard not to go into bits every 2 minutes. I'm not sure it's working. So basically, Seth tells Heyman that he's got 3 weeks to run his mouth, and Heyman says, the main reason that Brock had trouble with the aforementioned 3 gentlemen was because of he didn't have time to prepare. He was supposed to fight Braun Strowman. He ended up fighting Finn. He was supposed to fight AJ Styles. He ended up fighting Daniel Bryan. He was supposed to fight Jinder Mahal and ended up fighting AJ Styles. And that kind of reminded me, thank God. What a bullet we dodged there. Thank you, WWE. We don't get an opportunity to thank you so sincerely. But in retrospect, just want to make sure that we appreciate you taking care of us in that particular circumstance. So then we get a video package. But anyway, it all ends up with Shelton Benjamin attacking Seth Rollins from behind, ambushing him from the audience. He hits the trifecta of German suplexes, and apparently we have a match. Now, I am really, really happy. Okay? I'm really, really happy that Shelton Benjamin is wrestling. Shelton Benjamin is a fantastic wrestler. He always has been. Probably always will be. But what is the brand split anymore? What is it? What is it even for? I remember when just last year, free agent John Cena. That was a big thing. Now you've got guys in NXT guys who are just coming up on Maine. They're just going whenever they want. Bleep, bleep, blop. We don't mind. They're just going everywhere. And you have Matt Hardy shows up on SmackDown. Then you have Shelton Benjamin ending up on Raw. Was there a trade? These are some backdoor dealings? And then all of a sudden they just drop it on us? You know? Sheesh. Well, there's some grappling anyway that happens during this match when we come back from commercial, because there is a match. There's some brawling on the outside. Seth hits a blockbuster, calls for the stomp, but it's avoided by Sheldon. Not Sheldon, but Seth goes for a dive, but Benjamin gets a jumping knee right into the face of the diving Seth Rollins, or at least before he actually takes off with his dive. It's a nice spot. Like, he did it from the floor up onto the ring. It was a really nice spot. Benjamin then crashes Seth back and forth between the apron and the barricade and lariats him down to the floor. A gut wrench slam by Sheldon follows, but Seth fights back, gets a sling blade in, hits an enziguri, slingshot a top rope clothesline. Benjamin gets a couple of release Germans in though, but sets Seth up for an F5. But Seth powers out, hits a kick to the gut, and the stomp follows. Seth wins the match. And during this match, Paul Heyman, who was on commentary, got a call from Brock Lesnar to confirm that Brock was going to be on Raw next week. So there we go. It was a fun little match. But again, what is the brand split? Finn Balor is defending his Intercontinental title against Robert Lashley, who appeared, on the Titantron in his just his head, Zod Bobby Lashley. And he won. He won the title. He showed his big, intense Zod face on the Titantron, and he won the title. So from this point on, we should all fear Zod Bobby Lashley. Am I saying Zod? I'm suddenly doubting my reference. It's the thing from Power Rangers. I don't think it's Zod. No, Zod is the supervillain from the Superman movies. Correct me, chat. I'm thinking about the big green head from I'm thinking about the big green head from Power Rangers. Blue head. God, it's been ugh. So we have this match, Zed. There we go. Thank you, John. That wasn't too far off. It was Zed. Zed, not Zod. Zed. Thank you, everyone. So, we go, so Bobby Lashley hits the ring, and he's in a mood. He's in a mood tonight. He goes right after Finn. Gut wrench slam starts this one off. And he starts using the ropes for all sorts of leverage, trying to choke Finn out, just hurt Finn. Then we're into a real early chin lock in this match, of course. Bobby Lashley does hang out with Baron Corbin a lot, so, it's important to get a chin lock in before the 2-minute mark. He runs the ropes, but Finn drop kicks the shit out of Lashley. Finn goes for an enziguri, but Bob catches the leg, and elbows Finn onto the apron. Bob then goes for a superplex. I like to call him Bob. It's you know, kind of as if he was my pal. You know, me and Bob. Bobby L. Bob tries to suplex Finn, but Finn avoids it and drop kicks Lashley out to the floor. Running football kick off the apron follows. We come back from commercial, and Finn is trying to fight back, but instead eats a front face slam by a Robert. They head to the outside. Lashley drops Finn onto the apron. Gets him back in. Gets Finn back into the ring. Covers him, but only gets 2. Bob then gets Finn into a powerbomb position, but Finn reverses with a back body drop, rolls through, basement drop kick follows. Balor is on fire, stomps Robert into the chest, but Robert fights back. He goes for that reverse dominator thing, but Finn reverses himself out of it. Still doesn't keep Bob from lawn darting Finn into the turnbuckles. But Finn comes right back with a sling blade, drop kicks Lashley, and then suddenly the bell starts to ring. Ding, 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 ding. We're like, what? Are they doing back doing the Montreal screw job? Are we back to this again? But no, it's Lio Rush in a hoodie. Because he's, how else will one be sneaky? How else can one be sneaky if not with a hoodie? Leo he's there. He's ringing the bell. It distracts Balor long enough. It distracts Balor, I should say, just period. Leo comes after him, and Finn just enziguris the shit out of Leo. Finn springboards back into the ring, but eats a spear from Robert Lashley, who catches him right in midair, pins Finn, and wins the IC title back. I don't know, man. To be perfectly transparent with you, and I think I actually said this the night that Finn won the IC title. Lashley needs that title a lot more than Finn does. You know, Lashley needs this kind of prop to make him feel more, come across as a champion is much more important than I don't want to say than he is, but much more important. Like, you know, just help him get over. God damn it, Warren, that's what you're trying to say. But you know, it's still a weird move. But then again, maybe this opens Finn up to something else. I mean, if they're taking the title off of him, does this mean that we have something else in store for WrestleMania? At this point, I was kind of wondering, I was kind of thinking to myself that this is, that they're setting something up with Finn versus Lio Rush, which is actually the feud we want out of this love triangle that they have going. Lio Rush and Finn Balor. Are you kidding me? That would be fantastic. So, Bobby Lashley is your new Intercontinental Champion. Hope you guys are all happy about it. Let's see here. What are we talking about in chat? We have Webby, who says Bobby Lashley equals almighty cringely. I like that. And Jay King says, looks like Balor versus Lashley is the match for Mania. Get the pills ready. See, that's the thing. There's no automatic rematch clauses anymore. And does Finn really have to fight back for it? I kind of feel they're preparing us for something else with our boy Finn. I really do. And Joe Anthony says, I feel like they're just prolonging a Leo versus Bobby feud until the night after Mania. That'd be weird, though. That'd be strange. I think I know what you mean, but it'd be it's kind of weird because they've established Leo as such a small guy, who's very wiry. Yeah, he can run around real fast, but he just typically gets the hell beat out of him, right? It'd just be a massacre as far as Lashley goes, much more than Brock versus Finn, for instance. We'll see. Mr. Fred says, Demon Finn for the IC title? Feels like overkill. But maybe. I'm pro Demon. Ronda Rousey comes out. And at least now, her goofy swagger when she walks down the ring, now I feel comfortable enough to dislike it now that she's a heel. She has a microphone because apparently letting her talk is a really good idea. And she says, take your applause and shove it. And she starts talking down the audience. She didn't exactly say, you people, but the heart. She had the heart of a you people promo going. And she tells the audience, I understand why you cheer for Becky. She's just like you. Becky is a coward. And then she said, this is no church. Or wait, what is it? If this is a church, there is no sanctuary. I am here to desecrate. She's channeling the Undertaker. She's using Undertaker terminology. Oh, Ronda. And she says that she gives WWE her permission to make this match a triple threat. And anyone who believes in this whole charade is a joke. Clearly a reference to all the to her fake comments and to all this shit she's been talking online. And I gotta tell you guys, and I'm not going on a Ronda Rousey tirade tonight. Oh yeah, she called everyone bandwagon bitches. That's my hashtag for tonight, because on Twitter, people were wondering, Warren, what should we put up? Should we put which hashtag? Hashtag bandwagon bitches or hashtag free Dana Brooke? Well, according to Twitter, it was bandwagon bitches that came out on top. I don't know, chat. You tell me. Bandwagon bitches or free Dana Brooke? But I'm not going to go on a Ronda tirade tonight. Because if you want to hear a Ronda tirade, just a couple of weeks ago when the whole Becky Twitter thing, when the whole Twitter meltdown happened, you can head on over to youtube.com/Mr. Warren Hayes and find my surprise Thursday stream. That's all we talked about. I had Anthony from Smart to Death, and Kristen was here, and Joe Soriano from Daily DDT, and JPQ was here as well. They all jumped in, and we all took some time to talk about Ronda Rousey. So I'm not going to get into that. Oh, by the way, was Michael Stepney. Sorry, Mike. Thank you for reminding me, Michael, who's in the chat. It was Michael Stepney who had come up with the suggestion for the hashtags to put on the Warren board tonight. Yeah, it's not a whiteboard, it's a Warren board. Mother always said branding is important. So basically, I do want to say this, is that, saying, and this is what I find weird. I really, going off on Twitter and on your little vlogs on your little website is one thing, but going on the wrestling on WWE, the wrestling program, and basically saying, if you buy into this charade, you're a joke, just like Becky and Charlotte are jokes. If you buy into this, you're a joke as well. It's akin to saying it's fake, right? And saying everything is fake in wrestling just undermines the result of your match. We know you're not going to be fighting for real. There's not going to be a shoot fight. We get that. But it undermines the result of what you're trying to do. And saying everything, and then saying, everything is fake, but what I'm doing is real, is preposterous. It doesn't make sense. And I think I said this last week. We're heading back to 1998 WCW. Where it's like, is it a work? Is it a shoot? Is it a work? Is it a shoot? But it's not even that, because even when there were work shoots and we were peeking behind the curtain, no one was undermining everything else that was going on. No one was saying, all this shit is fake. And it was interesting back then, and it just feels rehashed today. And no one is buying that Becky and Ronda are going to shoot fight each other for real. No one is buying that. Yeah, I think looking at what's going on in chat, I think Blaine has nailed it. Well, of course, Kristen came up with free Dana Brooke, you bandwagon bitches. But Blaine also has free us from Ronda promos, you bandwagon bitches. which I like. Anyway, but at this point, this is where Dana Brooke comes out, and she's cutting a promo on how she finds it disrespectful what's going on, and you see this is the thing. The fact that she's saying that Ronda's being disrespectful to the WWE, to the WWE universe, that she needs to stop. This has all been endorsed. This is scripted. It's part of the show. So someone is embracing Ronda's nuttiness and deciding to bring it into the show because realism, But basically, Dana comes out. She says she cuts a promo saying that that she's fought tooth and nail for everything she has. She's not on TV all that much, but she's proud of what she's done, and all she wants is a chance. It's an opportunity. Ronda, it's after a pay-per-view. You said you'd do an open challenge. I accept your open challenge. And Ronda's a heel now, so she doesn't give a shit about open challenges anymore. So she beats the hell out of Dana Brooke and slaps one of the referees right into the Raw after WrestleMania. Man, did she palm strike him. Ah! Well, it's like I said. I've said before. I've said again often. The Ronda is, as far as ring work goes, I don't have a problem with her. I don't. But it was interesting to see the promo from Dana Brooke. She was very, you could tell she was very emotional. It was coming from a real place. She was shaking. She was, it was a very real moment for her, in a moment where all the realness is very blurred. Next, we have Aleister Black and Ricochet, your new favorite tag team, versus Chad Gable and Bobby Roode. Black and Gable start this one off fast. Get some strikes in from Black, followed by a big slam by Chad Gable. Roode comes in. Double team effort is avoided by Black, who tosses Gable out. Black strikes Bobby Roode, sweeps him down, but Roode gets back up and hits Black with a big spine buster. Bobby Roode has a nice spine buster, you guys. Covers Black, only gets 2. That was a nice quick sequence. I really liked it. Roode drives Black into his corner. There's a double team assisted moonsault, I guess you'd call it, between Roode and Gable. And Gable covers Black. Again, only gets 2. And then Gable ties Black up into a submission. Eventually, Black does get out of it. Roode comes back in, gets a backbreaker on Black, covers him, but only gets 2. And finally, Ricochet comes in with the hot tag. Ricochet gets a neck breaker in. He spears Bobby Roode. Springboard handstand happens and is by Ricochet. And he's actually caught by Chad Gable in midair. And that was really cool. The Gable and Roode do their double team bulldog into a German suplex combination, double team work. They cover Ricochet, but only get 2. They go for their finisher, the neck breaker moonsault combo, but Ricochet avoids it and avoids a lot of offense and lariats Gable down. Black gets back in, kicks Bobby Roode. Ricochet has Roode in a fireman's carry. Ricochet hits a kind of a bit of a lightweight GTS, and then goes off to drop kick Gable off the mat. And Roode just turns around and walks right into another black mass out of nowhere. And man, he just nailed it. Black did. Black covers Bobby Roode for the win. So again, your NXT guys going forward. Going. And it's crazy. Like I said, I said it last week. No, I have no issues with the NXT guys being used like this. I mean, they're coming off really strong. So that's really good. As the NXT guys head back up the ramp, the Revival attack. They take them out, and they back off when Roode and Gable arrive. But Roode and Gable didn't come in for the save here. They were just like walking up the ramp, and then Revival went, no, we're done here. Nothing to see here. We're going away. So there's still a lot of tension here. You have to admit, they've been taking good care of their tag team division on Raw for past few weeks. Been having some great matches. We'll see where this keeps leading into. Next, we have a moment of bliss. The famous talk show now requested by everyone I know, where we are going to get the exclusive reveal of the WrestleMania host for this year's edition of WrestleMania. And Alexa reminds us of past WrestleMania hosts, such as Kim Kardashian and The Rock or The New Day. But she is proud to announce, Alexa Bliss she's proud to announce, ladies and gentlemen, that this year's WrestleMania host will be none other than Alexa Bliss. That was fantastic. And she says, it's such an honor for the WWE universe. You're welcome. There's some "you deserve it" chants in the audience. She says, that's right. Short, perfect. I couldn't ask for anything more. Um, they recap they do a recap of the Saturday Night Live guys popping in last week, especially putting some emphasis on Braun and Colin Jost. They say, talking about Braun, who's jacking him up by the neck, and Charlie Caruso is asking Braun what gave him the right to jack him up by the neck, and Braun says that he likes to jack him up by the neck. They said jack him up by the neck so often. I don't know what was going on. It was funny. But then there's a guy who arrives and says, Mr. Strowman, your car's here. And Braun's like, what car? And then back from commercial, we find out that it's some sports car. Chad, do you know what that... Does anyone who knows what cars are... Was that a legit model, or was it just like a phony thing? I don't know if it was a real car or not. Maybe someone can educate me. But the cast of Saturday Night Live came together and as a token of appreciation or friendship, they gave they got Braun Strowman a car. And he says it doesn't matter what he said. Braun just destroyed the car. He just pulled the doors off and started, tore off the hood. He bashed the windshield with his fist, and that stuff always scares the bejeebus out of me, because I always think back of when Goldberg did that on Nitro, where he was supposed to like punch through a car window with, I think it was a crowbar or something, but it didn't work, or he didn't have it, and he just went with his hand and he tore himself open, and he was out for weeks, and he actually could have like severed an artery, and he could have died. Like, that was some frightening shit. But yeah, so they have basically, Braun pulling a bonus, a Street Fighter bonus level for us all. I really liked the line when he said, "Why would they give me this? They give me something I can't even fit in." He pulls one of the seats out. It was so stupid. But then again, it's another WrestleMania where Braun Strowman is not going to have a proper match, because obviously they're setting him up for the celebrity moment with Colin Jost. It's a shame. It's a shame, because they really did miss the boat in regards to Braun Strowman. They just, and it can all be linked to the idea, the desire to get Roman Reigns over at all costs. That was it. That's why they never. That's why they. I mean, I still don't understand why they just didn't pull the trigger, give him a championship, the Universal title, when he was hot. I mean, I'm glad for Braun. Like, obviously they set up a segment for Saturday Night Live. He's going to show up on Saturday Night Live and he's going to fuck the set up. And good for him if he's getting mainstream attention. Wasn't he in that bad Sherlock Holmes movie with the funny guys? I mean, good for him, right? But as far as his wrestling career goes, I don't know, man. It's a shame. It's a waste. Elias is out next. He says he had promised himself that he wouldn't return to his hometown without being a hero, someone everyone can believe in. So, voila, I'm here now. And of course, he starts putting down his hometown, saying there are reasons why he left, because everyone's here is miserable, and it's the miserable people that hold the great people back. And that, friends, is the greatest bit of advice you will ever hear from a heel. I will tell you that is gospel truth. He does his sports references, and I don't understand them, but people apparently take offense to it. And No Way Jose comes out with the braids, which he had debuted on social media over the weekend. And Elias just goes right after him and drift-aways him on the steel ramp. That was something. This is when they announced the induction of Harlem Heat to the Hall of Fame, and Lacey Evans comes out, and she does her thing where she's dressed the sassy Southern Belle, and she comes out and she goes to commentary table, and Graves is ogling. He's holding on to Michael Cole's arm, and he's doing his best, like Looney Tunes, jaw dropping, eyes spinning, and tongue going, and it's confirmed now. It had been building, but it's confirmed now. If just watching Lacey Evans come out and parade and makes him act like that, Corey Graves is our modern day Jerry Lawler. Only a little less gross. Blatantly gross. But that's what he is now. Michael Stepney called No Way Jose. He says No Way Naomi. God, planted by Elias. CM Phil says Graves is the worst these days. He comes off like such a creep. He does. But I mean, not just these days. It's been a while. But I really feel like the way he goes off regarding certain women, certain women's wrestlers, the way he just focuses, oh my God, God's greatest gift to me. It's just a modern equivalent to Jerry Lawler's, high-pitched squeal when he'd see women in bikinis, right? It's the same thing. Next we have Nia Jax versus Natalya, who come out, and Nia Jax has a stare down with Lacey Evans, and not quite something I'm looking forward to seeing, to be perfectly honest. I hope they don't push this one forward. They recap what happened last night when Nia Jax and Natalya tossed the Boston Hug connection around after the match at Fastlane. What a bad match that was too. Oh boy. And you cannot put that on Tamina, what happened last night. No siree, Bob. So they recap what happened last night and recap Beth Phoenix getting involved. So we're having Nia Jax versus Natalya, right? So Natalya comes out. She has a microphone. She says, after what happened last night, it has me thinking of who has my back around here. For a while, I thought Ronda Rousey had my back, but apparently not. And I like that. I like that because it just, brings things together and wraps up a little open question that would have nagged us. Aren't Natalya and Ronda Rousey friends? Not anymore, apparently. And that's fantastic, right? That's really good. So Natalya says, well, there's only, I think there's only one person who I can count on, and that's my best friend, Beth Phoenix, Divas of Doom. So Beth Phoenix comes to the ring looking jacked. And they hit the ring. There isn't much of a match to speak of until Tamina holds Natalya up, which allows Nia Jax to splash her in the corner. And Beth Phoenix gets involved. Now, here's the thing. Beth Phoenix, she hits the ring. Excuse me. she hits the ring and goes after Nia Jax. Now, why would she do that? Why would she go after Nia Jax and beat her up and cost her friend the match when the problem wasn't Nia Jax as much as it was Tamina on the outside who had tripped her up, right? So she could go after Tamina and take care of her and let Natalya win her match. But no, this is like she just went and cost her friend the match. I don't know. Listen, Natalya, I think you're better off not having anyone watching your back if they're going to run in and cost you matches stupidly. I think Beth has been she's been away from the ring a little too long. She's sort of forgotten about how things work. So then the heels go backstage, and then we cut back. The camera cuts to Gorilla, and Sasha and Bayley and Tamina and Nia are going at it. So do you see where we're going with this? I sure do. I'm going to tell you what I would like. Instead of having a triple threat with the Boston Hug Connection, the Divas of Doom, and to Nia Jax, I would really much prefer that the Boston Hug Connection show up at TakeOver and challenge the Sky Pirates, Kyrie and Io. Man, the reaction that would get, the crowd would be on fire. Bayley and Sasha could work NXT style with Io and Kyrie. Are you kidding me? I would much prefer that than this triple threat that they're setting up at WrestleMania. Ugh. Next, we have the Triple H and Batista segment, which Triple H comes to. I really think this segment is unintentionally funny. As great as Batista's attack was 2 weeks ago on Ric Flair, this was a bit of a wet firecracker. You know, kind of a. He comes for the pop, but nothing really happens. Batista comes out with oodles of security, and I see a couple of the guys walk by, and I know they're indie guys. I know this. But none of them, but there's a lot of them who don't look like security guys. Like, if this was my security detail, I'd be calling the security company for a refund. And I really like the Triple H's line, the Guardians of the Independence scene. Cordon bleu. That was such a good line. There's some back and forth, but you know what what encapsulates this segment here? It's give me what I want, Sean. Not Sean. Sean? Give me what I want, Hunter. Give me what I want. Give me what I want, Hunter. Give me what I want. Give me So give me what I want, Hunter. Give me what I want. Give me what he want. And and the drool. The drool. Give it to me, Sean. Give it to me. And why am I saying Sean? Hunter says, give it to me. Give me what I want. Give it to me. Give it to me. Give it to me. And the drool, like the moisture that was just falling out of Batista's mouth with everything he said. After the match, there was a production assistant who was given the microphone after, and they were like, and they just went, and they went to an incinerator and burned it. That microphone's coming out of Batista's pay. Oh, that was awful. That was not good. It just went on too long. Honestly, I think someone forgot. I think they were playing off each other, and someone forgot their cue to just I think Batista took too much time. Someone was waiting for someone's cue that didn't happen. So we're getting Batista and Triple H at WrestleMania. I was gonna say Triple Mania. That's another thing. Batista versus Triple H, and it's going to be no holds barred. So that'll be fun. And Batista says, "This is good because I'm going to end my career on my terms and end your career on my terms." The crowd was not into this, guys. Ooh, boy, oh boy, oh boy. That was a hard one to get into. Next, we have Kurt Angle, who comes out. You remember a couple of weeks ago, they were sort of teasing Kurt Angle having a big announcement? Apparently, his big announcement came up tonight in his hometown of Pittsburgh, where he basically announces that he's going to have his farewell match at WrestleMania. Aww. He wants to thank all the WWE, for all the opportunities throughout the years and so on and so forth. But he also wants to thank the fans. And the fans stand up. Thank you, Kurt chants. And he says that he should have one last match in Pittsburgh tonight. And his opponent is Apollo Crews. They have a short, sweet little match where Crews does get some offense in, but it's all about Kurt getting his signature offense in, getting the triple Germans. Of course, Apollo Crews was able to get his standing moonsault in as well. But we got everything except an ankle lock. We got the angle slam that sealed the deal for Kurt for the evening. They hug. Kurt salutes everyone. Nice little moment. So who should it be at WrestleMania then? Who should end Kurt Angle's career? Chat. We have Jay King saying Kurt versus Taker at Mania. Wonder what you guys think. Let me know in the chat. You know what I'm thinking? What would be like somewhat poetic would be John Cena and Kurt Angle, because Kurt Angle did, after all, the ruthless aggression thing. It's a pretty memorable moment. It was the moment that launched John Cena's career. See, people are saying Cena in the chat. Jeff Jarrett. Joe Anthony. Can someone mute Joe Anthony? Jeff Jarrett, come on. Jason Jordan would be nice. Kristen Ashley added in there, but apparently he still has problems with gripping, so that's still not good. CM Phil says AJ would have been a great choice. Yeah, because they've had some memorable battles in TNA / Impact. I kind of feel like Cena should be the man to do it. I really think that's the best. I really do think that's the best possible outcome here. Kurt Angle versus Sunil Singh. Jay. Roman Reigns has a match tonight. His first match in 5 months versus Baron Corbin. Main event. Man, Baron Corbin. The man with the main event chinlock. But does the match really happen, folks? No, we get swerved. It's a swerve, bro. Roman gets to the ring, but Drew McIntyre, like a sneaky Scottish ninja, attacks him out of nowhere and claymores the shit out of him on the floor. He beats him up some more, and then claymores Roman's head against the post. Now that brings out officials, medical personnel who try to check out Roman Reigns and want to make sure he's okay. They're obviously playing off a concussion angle, which I'm slightly uncomfortable with because it's just me. This is not Warren rants against concussion angles here, but it does make me uncomfortable when you consider the legitimate history of concussions in sports entertainment. Kind of makes me uncomfortable when they play off of that shit. He's wobbly, and Seth comes out to help talk some sense into him to get checked out, carries him back. We actually head backstage. Listen, I mean, Drew was on point here. Like, he was just laying into Roman. Like, he was supposed to look like a strong motherfucker. Well, that worked. It worked like a charm. We go backstage. The Shield boys are all together again, and they're helping Roman get to the trainers. Dean is there, and he's pissed. And you see here Seth goes and drops. Does he go into the trainer's room with Roman? I think he does, right? And Dean sort of stays behind. You see, Dean wasn't entirely wrong when he turned on the Shield last fall. And he was saying, it's always about you two, and I'm always like bringing up the rear. He's not entirely wrong. Again. But basically, Dean runs into Triple H and he says, I want to fight Drew McIntyre tonight. And he says, I want to no disqualifications, falls count anywhere. Anything goes. And Triple H says, well, I'll go tell Drew. So we get that match. We get Dean versus Drew, and it's a fall counts anywhere. And they go at it right at the top of the ramp. Dean suplexes Drew right at the top of the ramp. He flies off the stage with a double axe handle onto the Scottish psychopath. I feel that, isn't that one of the most forced nicknames that we've heard in a long time? The Scottish psychopath. It doesn't quite roll off the tongue. It's like the sassy Southern belle. They're a little forced. Anyway, they brawl into the audience. They're right up into the bleachers. McIntyre rams Dean's head into a wall. He tries to launch Dean over the press box, but Dean starts biting Drew's hand. And he goes for a double axe handle again. He flies off the press table onto to Drew. Back from commercial, and Dean is trying to kick Drew down the stairs, and we get some shots. Because as many of you know by now, I am in Canada. I don't get to see the picture-in-picture stuff during commercials. So this is when I get to see Drew McIntyre and Dean Ambrose making Daniel Bryan proud. Fighting into the concessions area and breaking up the merch stands. Daniel Bryan is watching this from home, and he's like, my disciples or something. Drew hits a belly-to-belly overhead suplex to Dean on the floor, gets some stairs, and he uses the stairs on Dean, covers him, but only gets two. He stares him again, covers, but only gets two once more. They brawl back into the audience. They keep brawling some more. There's a very, very lame spot where Dean lays Drew out on a road case, and he starts pushing the road case with Drew on top, and he keeps getting momentum and building speed to eventually just ram into another road case. for some reason. That was a bit of a lame spot. They eventually reach the commentary position. Dean side suplexes Drew on the commentary table, mounts him, and drives some fists into his Scottish psychopathic face. But Drew hits a low blow on Dean and drives a pencil into Dean's eye? Is that what that was? Is that what that was? He lawn darts Dean into the LED wall twice. Covers him but only gets 2. Then he slips Dean into some railing and claymores him right in the head in the railing, effectively killing Dean Ambrose. I'm kidding. He's not dead. But he's dead enough to get the 3 count. And then after, well, he beats him up some more. So the Dean Ambrose farewell tour is still very much going forward. I know a lot of people are like, "Oh, he's staying. He's not leaving." All signs point to yes, he is leaving. Like if I'm a Magic 8 Ball, that's what I would say. Well, I mean, I'm okay with Roman Reigns versus Drew McIntyre at WrestleMania. You kidding me? That'll be fun. Why wouldn't it be fun? Especially if we get, we really get Drew here, not the muted nerfed Drew that we've been getting since November, I'd say. But this guy here, who's hungry, who's got something to prove, who wants to just beat the shit out of people. He concussed kayfabe. He kayfabe concussed Roman Reigns tonight and killed Dean Ambrose. What more do you want? Roman's going to come, he's going to want to not only get back at Drew for himself, but for his friend who's leaving the company to go find a more fitting creative outlet for himself in another wrestling promotion somewhere. I'm okay with this. And I mean, what else are you going to do with Roman and Drew? Thank God they're getting Drew out of the circle of friendship, Baron Corbin's circle of friendship. I'm glad they're getting him out of that, because that was a slow death. Joe Anthony points out the blood-curdling scream that Renee gave as Raw went off the air was like something out of a horror movie. That's a good point. Renee was selling the hell out of that. That was really good. Jay says, I'm going to miss Dean, honestly. He had so much potential as a heel. Yeah, and creative done messed that up. Shane Haas says, Dean will leave, Moxley will return. Oh, Shane, you're saying basically that the Dean Ambrose character will leave, but he will stay in WWE as what is it, John Moxley? Yeah. Interesting. Michael Stepney says this would be a great spot for McIntyre to get back on track facing Roman at Mania. Absolutely. I completely agree. I have very mixed feelings about tonight's Raw, because on one hand they initiated a bunch of storylines and directions and kick some things into gear, which they kind of have to do because we're 4 weeks out before WrestleMania and we don't know half of what's going on. So that's one thing. So that's one thing that's really that's really interesting. On the other hand, it was kind of dull. I was really bored in the last hour, and the brawl that Dean and Drew had wasn't the greatest, but it wasn't bad either. But I was so bored at that point. It was just, let's just get it over with. Run through the motions, gentlemen. It was so I'm very torn because on one hand I was like, yeah, this was a lot of fun, but on the other hand I'm like, oh, anyway, so that was it. I mean, they can't all be winners, but as far as being on the fast lane to WrestleMania, the fast lane in Canada, you go like 100 kilometers an hour. I kind of felt we were going 60 kilometers an hour. Not miles an hour. 60 miles an hour is about 100 kilometers an hour. So there you have it, folks. Look, I want to thank everyone who was in the live chat, who stuck around all this time to listen. I really do appreciate it. I want to thank you all for being here. I want to thank everyone who's listening to this on demand, either at youtube.com/Mr. Warren Hayes or on your favorite podcast application. Join me once again tomorrow evening for my post SmackDown Live recap show. Hopefully you guys will be able to make it. I know I'll be able to make it. But in the meantime, thank you all so very much again. And I'll see you next time.